Megumi holds one of Sukuna's severed fingers above his mouth. His hand is shaking, and you can see the fear in his eyes. His entire body is telling him that this is wrong, that this is the single most dangerous thing a sorcerer could possibly do, and then he swallows it. Now, you're probably wondering, why on earth would a trained jujutsu sorcerer willingly consume a cursed object that belongs to the king of curses? That's the exact question that changes everything about Jujutsu Kaisen, because in the original story, it was Yuji Itadori who ate that finger to save his friends from a cursed spirit, an accident born out of desperation. But what if it was Megumi instead? And what if it wasn't an accident at all? What if Megumi, the most calculating first year at Tokyo Jujutsu High, looked at all of his options and decided that becoming Sukuna's vessel was the best one? Megumi is not the type to make reckless decisions, but there is one thing that breaks through all of that calm logic every time: his sister, Sumiki Fushiguro. In the original timeline, Sumiki fell into an unending sleep after being cursed, and that single event is what drove Megumi to become a sorcerer. Now, in this scenario, that motivation gets pushed to its limit. Megumi finds out that Sumiki's condition is getting worse much faster than expected. The cursed energy keeping her asleep is growing stronger by the day, and the doctors at Jujutsu High have no explanation for it. Normal methods are not working. Even reverse curse technique cannot affect whatever is keeping her bound. Shoko has exhausted every medical option available to her, and the higher-ups at Jujutsu High refuse to spend resources on one girl when bigger threats need their attention. They see Sumiki as a lost cause, a casualty of a world that doesn't have time for mercy. Megumi is out of time. The specialists give her weeks before the curse consumes her completely. The time to act is running out fast. But then he hears something, a rumor buried deep in old Jujutsu records so old that most sorcerers don't even know they exist. Cursed objects with massive cursed energy have been shown to overwhelm and destroy weaker curses inside the human body when that energy flows through a connected sorcerer. One of Sukuna's fingers contains enough cursed energy to destroy entire city blocks. If that energy could be sent through Megumi's connection to Sumiki as her brother, it might be enough to destroy the curse keeping her asleep from the inside. It's a desperate and dangerous theory with almost no evidence behind it, but a theory is still more than what anyone else has given him, and Megumi does not have the luxury of waiting for a better option. He tracks down one of Sukuna's fingers that Jujutsu High had stored as a special grade cursed object in a secured facility. He breaks in using knowledge of the building's barrier system that only a student of Gojo's would have. He takes the finger. Then, in a moment that would terrify anyone who knows what Sukuna can do, Megumi eats it. The immediate effect is exactly what you would expect, but 100 times worse. The cursed energy floods Megumi's body. It is violent and overwhelming. For a few seconds, Megumi genuinely thinks he might die from the sheer force of it. His vision goes white. His cursed energy spikes so hard that the barriers around the storage facility break apart instantly. But he does not die. His own cursed energy starts fighting back against the intrusion with everything it has. Years of training kick in, and he slowly starts getting it under control. And Gojo, who just returned from his long mission, feels it immediately. He was already heading to the school when the spike hit, so he arrives within minutes. Gojo finds Megumi on his knees in the destroyed vault, surrounded by broken talismans and blood running from his nose. The finger is gone, and Gojo understands what happened immediately. He can see the cursed energy inside Megumi's body. He can see Sukuna's soul wrapped around Megumi's like a snake. And for the first time in years, Gojo looks genuinely worried. Not because Sukuna is loose, but because his vessel is different. Yuji Itadori was physically built to contain something monstrous. Megumi is different. He relies on technique, not physical strength. Gojo reaches out to help Megumi up, but Megumi pulls away. He looks Gojo in the eye, blood dripping from his chin, and says the one thing that changes everything: Sumiki. He did all of this for Sumiki, and now Gojo has a choice: execute Megumi like the higher-ups would eventually demand, or find another way. But here's what nobody sees coming. Kenjaku has been watching this whole thing from the start. He has people and cursed spirits watching everywhere, along with moles inside the Jujutsu world, and the moment he learns that a first-year student willingly became Sukuna's vessel, he realizes his plan needs to move faster. In the original story, Kenjaku had to wait months for Yuji to eat enough fingers, for Shibuya to happen, and for Sukuna to take Megumi's body. But now Megumi is already the vessel. Sukuna is already awake, and Kenjaku is not going to waste this chance. But here's the problem. Megumi is under Gojo's protection at Tokyo Jujutsu High, and Kenjaku is not stupid enough to attack the strongest sorcerer directly. So he does something smarter. Kenjaku unleashes a massive cursed spirit attack on downtown Tokyo. Not on the level of Shibuya, but still big enough that Gojo has to respond himself. Hundreds of civilians are in danger, special grade curses appearing in multiple locations at once. Gojo has no choice. He leaves to deal with them, and the moment he is gone, Kenjaku's team attacks Jujutsu High. They use anti-barrier techniques that only someone with 1,000 years of knowledge could know. They break through the school's defense within minutes. They find Megumi in the medical wing, still recovering from the first finger's effects. 3 of them rush Maki right away, thinking numbers will overwhelm her. Maki swings her polearm and cuts through the first curse user's barrier technique. Then she turns and strikes the other end of the weapon into the second attacker's ribs, cracking them on instantly. But the third curse user gets past her and rushes towards the medical wing door. Panda stops him. His punch hits the curse user hard enough to send them through a wall. Then Panda switches cores. The gorilla core activates, and his body suddenly grows much larger and more muscular. He grabs another intruder by the throat and slams them into the floor. Then Nanami arrives. He was inside the administrative building when the barriers fell. His ratio technique activates instantly, and he finds the weak point on the lead curse user's shoulder. But there are too many enemies. The defenders are outnumbered, and more enemies keep entering through the barriers. Maki tells Shoko to get Megumi out through the back exit, but Shoko is still trying to stabilize Megumi's cursed energy flow. She cannot move him without risking his life. And finally, the cursed spirits and users break into the medical wing. Maki takes down 2 more, but one slashes her across the back with a cursed energy blade. Nanami is fighting 4 enemies at once. His ratio technique is burning through cursed energy faster than he can recover it. Then, in the middle of Kenjaku's carefully planned confusion, he kidnaps Megumi, and by the time Maki breaks free and reaches the room, Megumi is already gone. All that is left is a fading cursed energy signature, and the sound of Kenjaku's team escaping through the broken barriers. Kenjaku does not waste time. He takes Megumi to a hidden underground facility, a place that does not exist on any map, and there he does something that should be impossible. He feeds Megumi the remaining fingers one by one, the fingers Jogo collected, the fingers hidden across Japan, the fingers cursed users kept hidden for centuries. Kenjaku has been tracking them for 1,000 years. He knows exactly where fingers are hidden. Megumi's body shakes with each finger, and to recreate the effect of the hidden finger, Kenjaku does something desperate. He brings Sukuna's Heian era body, the original body that Sukuna used 1,000 years ago, the same body preserved as a cursed object. Then Sukuna, inside Megumi's body, consumes his own original body. The cursed energy surge from it makes up for the missing finger. Then Kenjaku puts Megumi in the bath, the same ritual used in the original timeline to remove the vessel's rejection and give Sukuna complete control. His eyes roll back, and when they open again, they are no longer Megumi's eyes. They are Sukuna's. All 4 of them. The King of Curses stretches his new body and smiles. Then he summons Maharaga and tames him. Gojo thinks Megumi was taken by rogue curse users. He thinks this is a normal rescue mission. He has no idea what is waiting for him. So Gojo enters the underground facility alone, and he finds Ryum and Sukuna waiting for him. Sukuna smiles through Megumi's mouth and says the one thing that tells Gojo that this is already over. Took you long enough. The fight starts, and it immediately turns into chaos. Gojo opens Unlimited Void. Sukuna counters with Malevolent Shrine. Then Sukuna summons Maharaga to adapt to Unlimited Void too. The wheel spins, and the adaptation completes. For the first time in history, Gojo's Unlimited Void fails. Sukuna walks straight through it. He grabs Gojo by the throat and slams him through 3 floors of concrete. Gojo tries to counter with Hollow Purple, but Sukuna already saw it coming. He uses 10 shadows to summon Rabbit Escape. Thousands of rabbits rush at Gojo, blocking his vision, movement, and technique activation. While Gojo is distracted, Sukuna hits him with a cleave that cuts through infinity itself. The strongest falls. Satoru Gojo has been cut, deep across his chest and through his ribs. A wound that should be impossible, because infinity is supposed to stop anything from touching him, except now it doesn't. Maharaga's wheel finished spinning, and the technique that protected Gojo from everything, the technique that made him the strongest sorcerer alive, just stopped working. Gojo tries to use reverse curse technique to heal himself. He has done it countless times before, so it should be automatic by now, but Sukuna does not give him the chance. Not even a second passes. Sukuna is already in front of him, punching Gojo in the stomach hard enough to bring down part of the building. Sukuna jumps down after him calmly, like he already knows the fight is over. Gojo forces himself back to his feet. His vision is getting blurry. He can feel his cursed energy trying to heal the damage, but the wound goes deeper than normal injuries. Gojo cannot create distance from Sukuna anymore because distance no longer matters due to Maharaga's adaptation. But still, Gojo tries one more time. He gathers every bit of cursed energy he has left and fires Hollow Purple directly at Sukuna. The attack tears forward, able to destroy anything in its way. Sukuna dodges it easily, like it was nothing. Then he lowers his hand and starts attacking with Dismantle. But this version is different. This slash has already been adapted by Maharaga's wheel and reinforced with enough cursed energy to cut space itself. He tears through the air, through what is left of infinity, and through Gojo's chest. Gojo drops to his knees. His eyes are still open. His 6 eyes, the greatest ability in Jujutsu history, are now staring at nothing. Sukuna stands over him, and for a moment, the underground station goes completely silent. Above ground, the sorcerers from Tokyo Jujutsu High feel it. The cursed energy across the area suddenly changes. It feels like something huge just disappeared. Every sorcerer who has ever been around Gojo understands what this means. The strongest sorcerer is gone, and the world just became a much darker place. After that, the story stops being about a fight and starts becoming about the end of everything. Kenjaku has been waiting for this moment for 1,000 years. He has been waiting for the right conditions, and now every condition he needed for the merger has finally been met. And let me explain what the merger actually is, because this is where everything starts getting much worse. Master Tengen is the immortal barrier user who has protected Jujutsu Society for centuries. Their curse technique gives immortality, but it does not stop aging. Without a star plasma vessel to reset the body, Tengen kept evolving over time. Eventually, they became more cursed spirit than human, and that created a huge weakness nobody fully understood until it was too late. A being that is more cursed spirit than human can be controlled by cursed spirit manipulation, and that just happens to be Kenjaku's technique. In the original timeline, there were safeguards. Yuki Sumiko and Choso were guarding the tombs of the Star Corridor to protect Master Tengen. The sorcerers had time to prepare, plan, and fight back, but in this timeline, none of that happens. Satoru Gojo is away dealing with the cursed spirit attack created by Kenjaku. The sorcerers are scattered. Yuki never gets the chance to guard Tengen. Choso never reaches the tombs, and when Gojo goes underground to fight Sukuna, nobody is left to stop Kenjaku from walking into Tengen's chamber and taking what he wants. So, Kenjaku captures Master Tengen and uses cursed spirit manipulation to force them into submission, and Tengen cannot not resist because their evolution made them vulnerable to the exact technique Kenjaku uses. And with Tengen under his control, the final part of his 1,000-year plan finally falls into place. Tengen's barriers spread across all of Japan. They form a huge network of cursed energy that connects people, places, and boundaries. When Master Tengen merges with humanity, those barriers collapse in on themselves. The boundaries between people disappear. The negative emotions of over 100 million humans combine into one massive cursed energy source. And at that point, people in Japan stop being normal humans. They become something else entirely, something outside the normal physical world. What happened in Tokyo during the Culling Game was only a preview. The real merger spreads across the entire country, and then the rest of the world. Kenjaku does not need the Culling Game in this timeline. The Culling Game was always just a ritual to prepare Japan for the merger. It filled the colonies with cursed energy and moved people to the other side. But in this timeline, Sukuna's resurrection already gave enough cursed energy to make up for it. The release of all 19 fingers, the destruction of the underground facility, Gojo's death, all of it added more power to the barriers across Japan. Now, the barriers are already full of cursed energy. All Kenjaku needs is a trigger, and with Master Tengen under his control, he has it. He activates the merger, the barriers activate, the cursed energy network lights up across the sky, and every person in Japan feels it at the same time. A strange feeling spreads through their minds. The line between themselves and the people around them starts to disappear. The thing that makes each person unique slowly starts to fade away. And Megumi Fushiguro, the boy who started all of this, his soul is still buried deep inside the darkness of the bath. Even the merger cannot reach him. He gave up everything to save his sister. He became Sukuna's vessel to find a cure for Sumiki, but in the end, the cure was never real. The idea that Sukuna's cursed energy could burn out the curse was only a theory from old records. Nobody had even proven it worked. Megumi risked everything on that theory, and he lost. The question we asked at the beginning was simple. Why would a trained jujutsu sorcerer willingly eat a Sukuna finger? And the answer was love. Megumi did it for Sumiki, but the real question was never why he did it. The real question was whether it would matter, and the answer was no. Kenjaku adapted to the new events and planned for every possible way the sorcerers could fight back. And Megumi, the most calculating first year at Jujutsu High, ends up giving Kenjaku exactly what he needs. The merger is complete, the world changes, and now there's no one left to stop it.